Bonjour, Shirley. How are you? Delighted to be chatting with you.
Hello, Terry. Bonjour. Comment ça va?
Got a comment, allez-vous?
I'm fine, thank you. And thank you for inviting me.
I'm absolutely delighted to be chatting with you. But before we're going to focus on your writing, but before we talk about your writing, tell us about life in France, in the Toulouse region. You moved there, what, to a 300-year-old farmhouse property?
When we first moved to France,
Yeah.
it was February 2000.
Okay.
And we arrived in the rain.
Yeah.
Me and my husband, we're quite impulsive. You know, we don't do lots of research when we
Yeah.
do things.
Big move. Big move.
Yeah, very big move. And so I don't know if you know this, Terry, but it rains a lot in Brittany.
Oh, I didn't know.
Well, it rains a lot in Brittany.
Yeah. Like
And
Manchester.
well, we didn't research the weather. And we arrived in the rain in February, and it rained every single day until June.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh my God, what have we done? But yeah, so it's very green.
Yeah.
But obviously there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
But we lived there for, let me think, 10 years.
Yeah.
And then after 10 years, we moved down to Toulouse. We're about 25 kilometers southwest of Toulouse.
Okay.
And we love it down here. The weather is fantastic.
Yeah.
Very, very hot summers.
The rain didn't follow you down there then?
No. I mean, it does rain sometimes, but not very well. We have drier winters than we did in Brittany, that's for sure. But the summers are very hot, sort of. It's often 34, sometimes 38.
Yeah.
During the summer, yeah. So, but it's great. That suits us.
Yeah,
we love the weather here.
Sounds brilliant.
The climate's great. Yeah.
I'm just thinking Toulouse, Liverpool have just drawn them. The Liverpool football team have drawn them in the Europa League as an opponent. Yeah, but you're a Nottingham Forest supporter.
Yes, I'm a Nottingham lass. Yes.
Did you get to go to many games during the glory days of Forest?
Oh yes.
Winning the two European Cups back to back.
Yes. Well, my two friends. One worked in the office. I think she was sort of the assistant secretary to Brian Clough.
Wow.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And my other friend, Sally Reacher, her father was the vice chairman.
Yeah.
At Forest. So I got backstage a lot, and all my social life kind of revolved around Nottingham Forest. So they were great days, great days, yeah.
And a great result today as well, which I didn't know about.
Oh,
so you told me.
Phew.
Same with us when we played them last week.
It's nerve-wracking. We can't win away from home. So today, beating Chelsea, that was brilliant.
Yeah, not off.
Yeah. So my celebratory water.
That's good to see them back in I was going to say the first division.
First division,
back in the Premier.
It is.
When I think of Nottingham Forest, I mean, you think first division, going back to the glory days.
Yeah. And the European Cup and everything. So.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, good. Moving on, going back in your writing career, you were a weekly columnist for the Bella magazine, one of the UK's most popular weeklies. Were you employed by them or working as a freelance?
No, what happened was I pitched them my idea, and I had to give them 3 samples of what I thought would work. And they gave me a 12-month contract.
Brilliant.
I used to have to write a half-page column every week, and include a couple of photos. And they pretty much gave me a free rein of, you know, what to write. It was about life in Brittany, starting bringing your family up in another country and everything. And but it was really up to me to find interesting things, interesting topics to write about each week. And I loved it. I absolutely loved doing that. I used to get readers phone me. They used to find my phone number somehow. And because they read, they sort of felt as though they knew my family. So they would just phone up and say, "Oh, hi, it's Carol here." And I'm thinking, Carol who? And they say, "I just wondered how your daughter got on at the school play or whatever it was that I'd written about." And I'm like, "Yeah, great. Who are you?" It was a bit weird.
Sounds like.
Yeah, and then sadly, after about 12 months, a new editor came in. And it was out with the old, in with the new, and I was old. And then I used to get letters off readers, real letters, not emails, saying they were really sad that where was my column? Because I don't know if they announced it in the magazine or not, just disappeared, I think. And they would say, "Oh, I'm not going to buy the Bella anymore because I only bought it because of your column." And I used to answer everyone and say, "Oh, please write to the editor and tell them this, you know." But then I didn't hear anymore. But it was a really, really good time. I enjoyed every minute of it.
Sounds like. Did you not contact other magazines maybe to, take up the same type of writing about your experience in France and the 300-year-old farmhouse? Did no other magazines contact you, or did you just say, right, change the scenery?
Yeah, life got very busy. We had a lot of land, and when you arrive in Brittany, people give you animals.
What? Give
Especially
you animals?
if you've got, they gift you. They gift you animals.
What, sheep? Farm animals?
Anything. It's usually dogs and cats. We had dogs, cats, chickens, rabbits, quails, ducks, and then 2 more dogs. And then somebody gave me a very naughty donkey.
Naughty donkey?
Yes, a naughty donkey.
What was he doing?
So it was like all these animals. It was like a full-time job, really. I didn't have time to think about writing. Life just got too busy.
Your hands full?
Yeah.
Okay.
Very much. And my husband was working away. So it was sort of, it was quite hard work.
Yeah, I can imagine. Moving on from the Bella experience, you had a terrible diagnosis of early stage breast cancer. That must have been an awful bolt from the blue. Just totally, one day you're fine, you go and visit your doctor. Yeah. That's awful.
Well, I used to keep myself fit. I used to swim probably the equivalent of about 2 or 3 miles a week. I used to walk. I used to clock up probably about 20,000 steps a day.
Wow.
I ate healthily, and I never even, it was never in my thoughts that I would ever get cancer. Wasn't really in the family. My gran had it, but my gran died when I was about 11 or something. But apart from that, so I never really thought about getting it. So this diagnosis just came out of the blue. I was shocked. I was scared. within 10 minutes of being told I had cancer, in my head I was sort of planning my funeral.
Yeah, the
You know,
worst
all
thing you
these
can be
things.
told.
I'm sure everybody does that. That it's natural. I'm sure, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But I think the first 2 weeks are the worst because you're in shock.
Yeah.
Once you have a plan, once you have your appointments lined up, and you have a treatment plan,
Yeah.
then it kind of settles down and you just go with it. But yeah, it was at the time, it's a terrible shock.
Oh, I can't imagine. Well,
Very scary.
is the treatments in France? Is that where you were treated in France?
Yes.
Is that on akin to our NHS? You go through a similar path, diagnosis and then referral to a consultant, and then treatment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. My GP, he just phoned up who he thought was the best surgeon that he knew.
Yeah.
And then he phoned up and got an appointment for me there and then. So about a week later, I had to go. They made a rendezvous, an appointment for the biopsies and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like that. I mean, it's a different system, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's sort of kind of, that's how it works, really.
Okay.
And then I had my treatment. Tough.
I can imagine. I can't imagine.
It's really horrible treatment.
Yeah.
It was for
Chemotherapy.
me. Yeah.
Can I ask, with the treatments, there's a little known side effect: persistent chemotherapy induced alopecia. I know about the hair loss with the treatments, but my understanding was that it was temporary, that the hair would come back. But you had a different experience.
Yes. And when I see or read people saying, "Oh, don't worry, your hair will grow back, it's only hair," oh, it's like red rag to a bull with me. Oh my God. Yeah. It's a myth. Yeah. Your hair does not always grow back. If you have the drugs Taxotere or docetaxel, they're the same drug. Yeah. Taxotere is like the brand, and the generic version is docetaxel. So if you have this drug, then you stand a very real chance of suffering from permanent hair loss. There's no cure. You will end up dying with it. There's nothing that you can do. Once you've got it, you've got it. Your hair follicles are dead.
Were you told this at the start of the treatment? Did you have a choice?
Huh? No. And sadly, 18 years down the line, women are still not being warned properly, given any other options. When women are asking about it, they're being told, "Oh, you know, it's very rare," and all this, and it's completely untrue. It's completely untrue. In fact, the latest independent study was in a collaboration between the Clatterbridge Liverpool Cancer Centre and Christie's. Yeah. And I think it was in 2021, so pretty recent. And they came to the conclusion, their results showed that in postmenopausal women, it was occurring in 37%.
Yeah. It's a huge percentage.
Huge percentage. Yeah. This is in postmenopausal women. So really huge percent. Yeah. And yet, you know, these women are asking about it. They're saying, "Oh, no, I've never seen it before. It's just wrong."
You wrote about this in your 2014 book, Naked in the Wind, Chemo, Hair Loss and Deceit.
Oh, I can talk all night about the deceit. To cut it short, the deceit was, I found out afterwards, obviously when it was too late for me, but I found out that the company that make Taxotere, Sanofi, they knew about this problem, and they took a decision to keep it quiet as long as possible.
Yeah.
And even when women were reporting to them directly that, you know, your drug has done this to me, they were getting these very angry, depressed women contacting them. These reports were either being hidden or shredded.
What?
So, and it's just a scandal. It's just terrible.
It's illegal, that, isn't it?
Oh,
Surely
yeah,
it's illegal.
It's got to be. I know.
Yeah,
I don't understand why something hasn't happened.
Yeah.
About that.
Yeah.
So this went on for like years. They tried to keep it quiet because they knew that women would say, well, hang on a minute. Is there another drug that I can have instead that is as effective but doesn't cause this problem?
Yeah.
And there is another drug that's equally, if not more effective, called Taxol or paclitaxel. It's not suitable for every woman, but you know, your doctor can tell you whether. But women aren't given the option, you know.
Yeah.
So
is that because the expenditure, is it very expensive or something? That's why they won't offer it.
Well, I don't know about the cost, but I do know that the alternative is usually given once a week, where the Taxotere dose Taxol is given once every 3 weeks. I mean, there are some variations. Some women have it differently, but usually that's how it's given. So so they're being asked, and they're just either saying, I've never seen it before, it's rare, doesn't happen, it's just, and denying these women their rights as a patient to give informed consent. So it's yeah, as you can see, it still rattles me, even after 18 years.
Yeah. Did you take it any further, or has anybody took it any further and tried to take anyone or make them you know, take them to court, for example, or make them admit liability at least?
What's happening is, I think it's about 6 years, must be about 6 years now. In America, there is litigation ongoing. I got involved with that, and that's how my latest book came about. But this litigation's been going on for about 6 years now. So everything that I've written about in Naked in the Wind and my latest book is all factual. There is the court documents to back everything up. You know, it's all factual.
Do you have a copy of the book nearby at all, Shirley?
My latest one?
Yeah, I love the cover image on that book. A Hair's Whisper. From
Cancer to the Courtroom. She said it was really good, Terry.
I love the cover.
Wow.
Wow. Brilliant. Wow, yeah, it is good, isn't it?
I like the way it fades, you know, it bleeds into the back page as well.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted something to represent empowerment. And when my cover designer, when she sent me, she says, oh, you know, what do you think? This is what I've done so far. And I'm like, oh my God, an eyelash in my eye. It just screamed empowerment to me, and that's what I was after. So, and it won an award.
Brilliant.
The cover won an award. Yeah.
Excellent stuff.
Like an Erin Brockovich type of battle against a huge faceless company.
Yeah, it is. Naked in the Wind, when that came out, people were saying, "Oh, this is an Erin Brockovich story," and it is definitely. You know, the drug company. I don't want to make too many spoilers in case anybody wants to read about it, but they hired a company to silence me, basically, and it had the opposite effect. So but they went out of their way to shut me down. But obviously,
that's incredible, isn't it?
I know.
Obviously, they haven't. They've lost.
No. No, it's
why can't they just admit it? And you know, they should be just admitting that they've maybe got it wrong and they should have done this and embrace it, you know, because that's what it's all about, isn't it? Trying to help people, not hide from people, surely, you know.
They knew that women would not want their drug. My oncologist, she told me, she said, none of her ladies, none of them will have this, because I now have to tell them I've seen somebody, one of my patients had it. And she said, none of them are going to want to take the drug. And of course, the drug company knew that was going to happen. So they wanted to keep it quiet for as long as possible to get the money back, I suppose. But it's a scandal. It is. It's a scandal. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah. So with your books, publishing them, did you go down the independent route? Did you find it a massive issue trying to get a publisher, so you went down the independent route? Yeah.
Well, I didn't. It's never been my ambition to be an author. I enjoyed writing my columns, Bella, and it never even occurred to me I never had any ambitions at all to be an author. So when this happened to me, and when I found out what they'd done to me, and how they tried to silence me and everything, I wanted to warn other women. And I thought, what can I do? And I thought, somebody said, you should write a book. And I'm like, I can't write a book. How can I write a book? And then I thought, I wonder if I could. And then I was on Facebook, and I came across this group called We Love Memoir. We Love Memoirs. So I read some of their books, and it's readers and authors, indie authors and readers. And I thought, I can do this. I'm sure I can do this. So that's basically how I set out. I just had to get the message out. I couldn't afford to have years of trying to get a publisher, because every year there were who knows how many hundreds of thousands of women that were going to be permanently disfigured with this drug. So it was like time sensitive. I had to get my book out as quickly as possible.
We've heard that.
I suppose that. Sorry. I was going to say, I suppose a publisher as well has got to think this could be controversial. Do they want to really take it on?
Yeah. Well, there was that as well. Yeah. Yeah. But I didn't have the patience or the inclination to even think about anything but indie publishing.
Yeah. So did you find it relatively straightforward to publish because of your experiences with writing for Bella anyway, or did you have an idea how to do it and then just got on with it? Was it fairly easy for you?
It was quite easy. The actual writing was quite easy. What was difficult for me was I had to get everything 100% accurate.
Proofreading, edited, all that.
Oh no, just the facts.
Oh, facts.
I had thousands of emails that I had to go through. I had to get dates right. I had to make sure it was all in the right order.
Right, okay.
I didn't want anything coming back to me and sort of destroying my credibility.
Yeah.
So I would be up at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to find something in an email from years and years before, just so I knew which part of the story that comes in. And it was difficult for me because as I was writing it, I could feel myself being dragged down. It's a very candid book. And I could feel myself getting dragged down, pulled down into this abyss where I'd kind of left recently. And I just didn't want to be in that whole world of depression and the terrible dark thoughts that I had. So I thought, are people going to be depressed reading this book? And I thought, I want them to find it inspiring and empowering and just give people sort of strength and hope, but also get my message across. So I decided to write every other chapter about our life in France to sort of lighten the mood as it is. And then it would lead up, the French chapters would lead up to me discovering a lump. And that would sort of, be sort of at the end of the book. And I thought that would lighten a heavy read sort of thing. So when I could feel myself being dragged down, I would just put that to one side and write a living in France chapter. And then that helped me. So that's balance. How that was,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you, we've connected on Twitter, and I've read that you've taken part in, I've looked at a couple of podcasts that you've taken part in, and you've got your excellent website. How do you pronounce that? Sailedly.com? Saledly.com.
Ledlie.com.
Ledlie.com. Ledlie.com. Yeah, of course it is. Really, yeah. But is that your main focus tool to connect with readers, or do you use other social media? Do you use Instagram, TikTok? You've mentioned Facebook.
Yeah, I've Twitter. I'm prolific on Twitter. And I've got a Facebook author page, which is S.A. Ledlie. And then my personal website, which is www.saledlie.com. And then I've got the support group and the website that I raise awareness about this on. That's www.aheadofourtime.org.
Okay.
But Twitter is my thing. I have an Instagram writer's account, but it's been very quiet on there. I don't bother with Instagram.
I don't myself. Twitter's my main thing as well.
Twitter, yeah. Well, X.
Sorry, yeah, of course.
Yeah, I can't get my head around that X.
No,
it's still
I can't.
Be Twitter forever, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, someone's coming out for the first time, wants to write a book, and they come to you and ask for advice. What would you tell them the best way to do it?
I would tell them to believe in themselves, do as much homework as possible. And I think the best source for this, there is a Facebook group called, I hope it's all right me saying this, 20 books to 50K. And they are all, it's full of these amazingly successful indie authors, and they're giving it back. And you can get everything you need to know on there. It's fantastic. And for people who want to write a novel, I would get them to check out somebody called Sacha Black. She was I went to a writing conference organised by 20 books to 50K. I went there in April to Seville, and this Sacha Black, she's the master of deconstruction, and fantastic. You will learn so much from her. So if they check her out, she's got a website and she's got books out, and I think she offers like a free mini course on creating your villains and everything. She's awesome, absolutely awesome. So I would say definitely 20 books to 50k on Facebook.
Yeah.
You will get all your knowledge from there.
That's interesting. That's
it is
worth knowing that, Terry. Nobody
Definitely,
else has ever said
no,
that, have they?
I've never heard. I've made notes. I'll put links as well on this, Shirley.
Yeah.
And get a great editor and proof, the best editor and proofreader that you can possibly get.
Yeah. So that's what, 2 years now, and how many authors have we interviewed? No, nobody's mentioned that.
About 200. No, first new photos. That,
I can't believe it. It's incredible. Everything you need to know. It's brilliant.
That sounds great.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it at all, but because everyone's got a different insight into how they do it, and that's just another one we've learnt about.
Definitely.
Yeah. For people that don't know, first timers, you can find out everything there. Really helpful. Yeah.
Shirley, as I mentioned, time's caught up with us, but it's been an absolute pleasure chatting with you.
Thank you. Thank
you for the past 2 minutes, it feels like. Yeah. But let's keep in touch as we have been.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
But for now, merci.
Merci beaucoup. Merci beaucoup, yeah. Hey, Terry, it was only 2 minutes with me. I was late coming along. Anyway.
You made it, those days. The best thing.
I got here in the end. Yeah.
But thanks for now, Shirley.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye.